which you shouldn't. The Golden Globes, very different. Oh, God, different vibe. 200 million people watching around the world, and it's live, you know, big thrill. But with that many people watching, there comes a bit of stick. Everyone's different. Everyone's a blogger. Everyone goes, I was offended. Oh. Why? He said an horrible thing. We said loads of horrible things. Yeah, but that was a thing that I care about. And that's the thing about offence, isn't it? It's about feelings, and feelings are personal. I don't care about the so-called backlash, you know, comedian in hot water. Ooh, you know. But my girlfriend Jane, she does worry a bit, and she reads things. Oh, why are they? What have you said? Why? I go, don't worry about it. They're not coming to the house. Fuck them. So I wind her up. I pretend I'm going to say much worse things than I ever would. You know, think of that. I have to make up worse jokes than I actually just to scare my girlfriend. So when I'm doing the Golden Globes, we go out about a week before. It's in LA. We fly out, right? And I'm writing jokes as the ceremony approaches. And, you know, they release sort of more presenters. And I take my pick. I go, oh, yeah, I've got a good intro for them. Yeah, I'll do. Yeah. Mel Gibson. Yeah, I'll introduce him. Yes. And about 3 days before this last one, right, just to wind Jane up, I said, oh, I've got a good intro. She went, what? I said, Bill Cosby would make our next presenter sleep on the couch. Please welcome Helen Mirren. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. She went, you're not going to do it? I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Next day, I got her again. I said, is this too much then? I said, not even Bill Cosby carries enough tranquilizer to bring down this next magnificent beast. Please welcome Melissa McCarthy. I didn't do it. I'd never tell a joke like that. It's horrible. I was just doing it to annoy Jane. I'd never even think of that. So don't... Even on the day, on the way to the red carpet, we're in the limo, just to wind her up, I said, oh, I'm going to start off with a funny little one-liner, just an old-fashioned joke. She went, oh, what? I said, what did the deaf, dumb and blind orphan get for Christmas? And Jane went, I don't know. I said, cancer. I didn't do it. So you're getting offended at a joke that doesn't exist. So I'd never say that in public. So to anyone who mattered. Anyway, so don't... They're amazing dogs. They're our best friends. They guard us. They guide us. There's medical detection dogs that can smell if you've got, like, AIDS. I'm not a doctor, but their noses are, like, 1,000 times more sensitive than ours. So they sort of go, poor, you're well HIV. Fuck, you know that. And you go, you can smell AIDS on someone. Yeah. Yeah. Then why didn't you smell it on the bloke I brought home last night then, you fucking idiot? They did the first 3 billion years by themselves, evolution and all that. And then we got involved and we did a bit of selective breeding, you know, getting them how we wanted them to do jobs for us, you know, a bit more of that, a bit stronger, faster, whatever. And they're great at the jobs they're bred to do, and they love the job they're bred to do because they're genetically hardwired to love that behaviour anyway. Although the Rhodesian Ridgeback was bred to hunt lions, and I can't help but think that was a little bit of a shock to it when it found out. So we did all the breeding, all the different pedigrees, all thousands, all the miles around, a big passing out parade. There's a bloke in a square with a white coat and a clipboard, and he goes, right, dogs. And they all go, what? Who wants to know what jobs they've got? We all do. Right. Okay, Labradors. Yeah? Do you like carefully bringing back dead ducks? Yeah. That's your job. Amazing. That is amazing. That is my favourite job. That is my favourite job. Jack Russells. Yeah. Do you like shooting down rabbit holes after... Yeah. That's your job. Fucking hell. Best day ever. Best day ever. Miniature poodles. Yeah. Do you like being carried around by elderly homosexuals? Yeah. That's your job. That's your job. Ridgebacks. Yo. You're hunting lions. What? You're hunting lions. Fuck off. Yeah, you are. No, we're not. Lions? We get fucking mashed. Why can't the Rottweilers hunt lions? They're shaking babies. Good boy. Good boy. You shake that baby if you want. Good boy. Cheers. Hey, thank you. Wow. Oh, calm down. Shut the fuck up. Thank you. What a lovely welcome. Just for that, I'm going to try my hardest tonight. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Rick, relax. We've already had our money's worth just seeing you. What? You're a legend. Shut up. Why is he? Huh? I'm not a god. Why is that? I'm just an ordinary guy, you know, going around talking to people. Sort of like Jesus. In a way, but better. Well, I've actually turned up, so... signatures on a, you know, a petition standing outside Tesco's or something, right? And that's the magic number, because then it gets heard, you know, in Parliament. And I've been part of many campaigns through Twitter that we've got 100,000 signatures in days, maybe, and the law's been changed. So thank you to anyone who's ever retweeted anything to do with animal cruelty, because it really makes a difference. So thank you. But even something as, like, clear and distinct as animal cruelty, right? You think, no one's going to argue with that, are they? Yes, they will, right? They just want to be heard, right? I'll tweet something about, you know, a bull being tortured in a bull ring, right, for entertainment, and I say, ban bullfighting. Someone always says, what about the kids in Syria? What? Well, I'm not giving you a choice. I'm not... You know, you can do both. I'm not saying throw that kid back in the hole, there's a bull here, right? You can... And there's one thing that I didn't want in my head, but it exists, so we got to deal with it now, that I found out through Twitter. There's a thing called the Yulin Dog Meat Festival in China every year, and it's horrendous. And we send people with money to buy the dogs to bring them back, but it's a drop in the ocean. They eat tens of thousands over this weekend, and I tweet the details why it's so horrendous in the petition. People don't really read it. It's a knee-jerk. People say, racist. I go, what? They go, well, we eat pigs and cows in the West. Yeah, we do. I don't, but yeah, I used to, right? Sure, and you're right, yeah. A pig is worth as much as a dog. A cow is worth as much as a dog. It's not about the species. It's what they do to these poor dogs. And what they do is they torture the dogs first, because they think it makes the meat taste better. They beat them, they blowtorch them, they even skin them alive. And I saw this picture on Twitter of this opening of this ceremony, these two guys in this Chinese square, and they're skinning this dog alive, and it's screaming, and they're laughing. I thought, that's the worst thing I've ever seen. Can I tweet that? I thought, yeah, I've got to. So I tweeted the picture. Stop. As opposed to deal with their own emotions. They expect everyone to care about their thing as much as they do, right? And it's why the world's getting worse. And the world is getting worse. Don't get me wrong. I think I've lived for the best 50 years of humanity. 1965 to 2015, the peak of civilization, for everything, for tolerances, for freedoms, for communication, for medicine. And now it's going the other way a little bit. The last couple of years, just a little blip, maybe, right? And I'm not saying this just because I'm old, because that does happen. Old people say things like, oh, everything was better when I was a kid. Well, of course it was. You were a kid. Everything's better when you're a kid, right? Being old is the shit bit. Whatever's happening in the world, being old is the... I wake up these days and I go, oh, fuck, I didn't die. Right? Got to do it all again. I'm usually hungover, headache, liver pains. I can't walk for the first 5 minutes because I've got no joints in the knees, right? I'm getting fat again now, right? Now, I was thin till I was about 28, like proper skinny, like 9.5 stone, right? Then I got a job, right? And the next sort of 20 years were what I call my eating years, right? And I just got steadily fatter and fatter till I reached a peak of unwellness and blobbiness when I was about 48 years old. And it was one Christmas, I was at home, lying on the floor, right? And I was saying to Jane, I'm having a heart attack, right? And honestly, my heart rate was like 130. I felt nauseous. I had palpitations. I was sweating because I'd eaten 11 sausages. True story, right? I was like one of them snakes. You know when you see a big, like, python swallow a pig whole, and then it's just fucked. It's just like, for a week, it's like a duffel bag, just there. That was me, right? And obviously I wasn't having a heart attack, but it worried Jane. She said, you've got to start looking after yourself. I thought, yeah, you're right, 48. So I started working out, right? I started working out every single day. I didn't give anything up, right? I don't eat meat anymore, but I was having like 2,500 calories, 3,000 calories a day, including wine every night, right? But I burnt it off the next day. Just so I could do all that, I worked out for an hour and a half every day, running, weight training. I had more time on my hands than the average person. I had a gym built in my house. I had no excuse. And I lost about 20 pounds, and it was great. But now, I still eat and drink too much, right? But I physically can't burn off the calories. I can't do enough because I'm so old and broken and tired. So I'm going to get steadily fatter and fatter again. And this time, I am going to die. I'm losing my hair. It's getting really thin. I know it looks great from there. Cheers. But, no, honestly, in a lift, right, with that light directly overhead and the mirror, it looks like an X-ray, right? I'm gonna have to buzz that off soon. I'd never wear a wig. Oh, my God. Guys, if you wear a wig or a toupee and you think you've got away with it, you haven't. Everyone knows. Everyone knows immediately. My brain knows a wig has come into the room before I do, right? I could be at a party or something, and it'll go, there's a wig in here. I'll go, is there? Yes, there is. Yeah. Spidey senses for the wig. It's only a little bit of the way they smile at you like there's nothing wrong. Telltale signs, isn't there? I was put off wigs for life, though, by my Uncle Reginald. A great bloke. He's dead now. Died a few years ago, right? I was only little, right? But he went bald in his 20s, tragically bald. I mean, he started going bald and his hair fell out. It might have been something. It might have been alopecia or something. I don't know. But he was bald for 10 years, into his 30s, right? Turns up one day at our house, Elvis. What is... like... And I remember I was about 8, and I said to Auntie Edna, what happened to Uncle Reginald's hair? And she went, it was a miracle. They were lying. They were just hushing. It was ridiculous. Everyone knew he was bald, right? But he'd embroiled his family in on the lie, so they had to lie as well. They're going, yeah, it just grew back. Yeah, it's amazing, right? And there's so many things he wouldn't do because he was terrified of the wig coming off, right? We weren't allowed balloons at parties, right? Auntie Edna said, yeah, Reg is allergic to balloons. He wasn't allergic to balloons. He was terrified one of us kids would rub one on our sweater, right? And his wig would fly across the room. We've got photos of him in the family album, right? And if he's at a wedding or a christening and he's holding a baby, he's always holding it at arm's length, like that. So he can't grab his wig. It must have been on his mind all the time, right? It was the only thing he feared, that wig coming off in public, and this ridiculous lie being exposed. He was in the army, he was hard as nails, wasn't scared of anyone or anything, spiders, snakes, roads, wasn't scared of cancer. How's the chemo going, Uncle? Not a problem. We got a photo of him, and the last year, I think, he was 75, yeah, must have been his last year he was alive, right? And it was a hot day, and he was in the garden in his little trunks, right? And he was a wizened little man by then, and white chest hair, jet black wig still. Died in it, buried in it. He's wearing it now. A little skeleton with jet black hair, right? Like Posh Spice for eternity, right?